She was the voice behind one of the most enduring songs in pop history. And now, with the news of her passing still fresh, fans around the world are waiting for the moment when they can say goodbye to Bonnie Tyler together. Bonnie Tyler, the Welsh singer whose powerful, raspy vocals turned Total Eclipse of the Heart, and Holding Out for a Hero into global anthems, died at the age of 75 after weeks of intensive medical care. She had undergone urgent surgery for a serious intestinal problem and spent time in a medically induced coma before briefly waking and continuing treatment. In early July, her family confirmed that she had passed away in hospital, asking for privacy as they tried to process the loss of a woman who had been the center of their lives for decades. In the immediate aftermath, there was one detail her family deliberately left out: funeral arrangements. They explained that no plans would be announced right away, not because a funeral would not take place, but because they needed time. Time to speak with one another. Time to consider what Bonnie herself would have wanted. Time to balance the quiet needs of a grieving family with the reality that millions of people feel connected to her music and would want the chance to pay their respects in person. As the days have passed, talk of a public funeral and memorial has begun to take shape. The idea is not a spectacle, but a gathering. Bonnie Tyler's career was built on moments shared with audiences, concerts in arenas and theaters, festival stages, televised performances, and unexpected resurgences whenever the world found a new reason to play Total Eclipse of the Heart again. A public funeral, or a large memorial service, would extend that tradition into one final chapter, one last time when her name brings people into the same room. Early discussions around such a service have centered on two places that defined her life: Wales, where she was born and raised, and the country where she had been receiving care recently. A public memorial in her home region would allow local fans, friends, and neighbors to gather with the people who knew her as more than a voice on the radio. Those who saw her as Gaynor Hopkins long before she became Bonnie Tyler. A larger, globally watched tribute could follow in a city with the capacity to hold international guests, fellow artists, and figures from the music industry who worked with her across 5 decades. One of the most striking developments since her passing has been the response from other well-known figures. Within hours of the news, fellow performers and public personalities began sharing memories and tributes. At least one prominent supporter quietly offered to help cover the costs associated with a major public service, framing it not as an obligation, but as a gift in her honor. That kind of gesture reflects how deeply Bonnie's songs had woven themselves into other people's stories. Weddings, breakups, comebacks, and moments when someone needed a song that could carry both heartbreak and strength in the same breath. For fans who cannot travel, the idea of a public funeral extends beyond the physical venue. Many have already begun their own informal memorials, gathering in living rooms to play her albums, posting videos of themselves singing along to the songs that meant most to them, and revisiting old performances to remember the way she could make a single note feel like it contained an entire lifetime. When a formal, public service is eventually announced, it will likely be accompanied by live coverage, giving people around the world a chance to join in from afar. What seems certain is that, when the day of that public farewell comes, it will not just be about one song, even if Total Eclipse of the Heart inevitably plays a central role. It will be about a woman whose distinctive voice carried her from small stages in Wales to the very top of the charts, who navigated changes in the music industry with resilience, and who remained, to the end, a working singer with a loyal audience. It will also be about a family sharing their loss with the world in a way that feels honest and respectful, opening a private goodbye into a wider, communal moment. Bonnie Tyler, born June 8, 1951, died at 75 after a long and difficult medical battle. A public funeral and memorial, when it happens, will be the place where her story is honored not only in words and memories, but in the things she gave the world most freely: music. Rest in peace, Bonnie Tyler. Thank you for watching.